What's up, people? What's up? Okay, didn't like that. Didn't like that. Oh, gotta open the camera lens situation. Gotta do that, because otherwise nobody could see anything. Any thoughts on the need for the game awards? I don't know, man. It's not something I think about. What happened to last night's bug? Well, we fixed 2 other bugs. We still haven't fixed that one. So I don't know what the deal is with that one yet. We will still have to investigate that. But in the process of thinking about those things, we started to look at some other things. And these other things need to get taken care of as well. So like last night, this clause was causing some problems. So we put something around it, but really we want to get rid of it. And to be able to get rid of it, we need to either make some semantic decisions about the language or bring some bigger guns to this party here. So yeah. The thing that this is doing right now, this thing that we would like to get rid of, there's probably like 3 things like this or 5 things like this that we would like to get rid of. And they're probably all patching around similar but slightly different cases. So what's going on is, you know, I'm calling this F, and F is later than the call site. And the way that we do type inference on scopes right now, this doesn't work without a hack because this guy is, you know, we basically go through declaration by declaration in this scope and figure out the types for everything in order, because it doesn't really make sense to do it out of order in most cases because, well, in imperative code, you need to know the types of the things that came before in order to determine whether the next thing is valid and all that, right? So we do that, but we make this allowance. We let you call things that are locally declared later. And I wonder if it's worth allowing you to do that. Like, maybe we should just say, in an imperative scope, things have to be in order. And maybe it's a version 2 of the language thing to let you make them not be in order. Just for simplicity, just so we could push things forward, right? I'm inclined to do that for now. I don't know. What if you wanted 2 functions that call each other? Well, that's one of the reasons why I decided that this should work this way, right? But I guess you wouldn't be able to do that inside an imperative scope, which does seem weird. But maybe that's just part of that restriction for now. Like, you know, right now, so here's the thing, is right now we are bounded on implementation complexity in terms of shipping the compiler, right? Like, I would like to be working on the last couple big features, but the complexity of what's already there is taking a lot of work to deal with. And this is only one category of the things that are inducing that complexity. And this one is not even that important, I don't think. So whereas you could say, philosophically, it doesn't seem good that you can't do that, it probably doesn't actually matter in terms of programs that anyone is going to write. And having a very clear rule that the programmer understands is a good thing. Or we could try to add a hack. It might be that in the long term, for some reason, we need to handle things out of order anyway, but I don't know. Yeah. So I think maybe this goes in the Y file. I think, let's try that. Let's just try outlawing this and then see what happens. Now, outlawing this might actually not be as easy as it sounds. Because there's some tricky cases that we found. But let's give it a try. So for this thing, there's a used before declared check in the compiler. Okay, let's get rid of this. Our theory is we can get rid of this hack for now, and we just, whoops, I deleted one too many lines, which is a mistake in Emacs. Okay, so this just says come back later if it's not ready. Like if you're trying to look up an identifier, come back later. Okay. This I don't know if we still need this. This is part of the hairy dependency complexity that I'm trying to get rid of eventually. I'm going to make a note to look into this. Okay. All right. So this whole thing we'll look at later. It's not really related to what we're doing. Okay. This is the thing that we simplified yesterday. So let's see, earlier, okay. So this is where we're looking up an identifier. Well, collect overloads, I guess. Do we? I don't think this gets invoked if there's just one. Yeah, it doesn't. Whoops. Right, so we're resolving an identifier, and it must be in find declaration that this happens. Is that in scope? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so here we're checking used before declared. So if we're not in an imperative scope, we're not checking order. Okay. So this is the exception that's allowing me to do that F thing. We're just saying, look, if it's locally declared function. So we're going to get rid of that. Now we probably have some code that is calling things like this. Yeah. So we're saying, look, the declaration's down there. There we go. And let's add more of an explanation. If it's a locally defined function, report info in imperative scopes order of declaration matters for procedures. Unless it's defined earlier in the order of statement. This isn't really a helpful explanation. In imperative scopes, you can't use a procedure unless it's defined. Okay. Let's say imperative scopes have order restrictions that don't in imperative scopes. Can't use a procedure unless it's defined earlier. This is defined in an earlier statement than the one in which it's being used. So it's convoluted. Unless it's defined before the statement that is using it you can relax this constraint by moving the procedure to a declarative scope. You know, I'm fine with that for now. Did I see the end? Shout out at the end of the Unity Developers article. No, I didn't see that. (226) is locally defined declared. Okay. There. Look at all this info that we get. Okay, whatever. We'll come up with a better message later. Yeah, 2019 is the year everybody sets the bozo bit on C++, I think. It's been a long time coming. I personally set the bozo bit in 2014, but I'm glad there's starting to be a consensus about that because it's time. Does imperative scope mean like within the body of a function? Yes, that's exactly what it means. It's exactly what it means. Okay, so now we get to try to compile Sokoban and see all the places that we have to change. Sim particle. All right, we're going to just move those to file scope down here. Update animation. I'm going to have to change some of the tests probably. Yuck. Update animation. Oh, that was it? In all of Sokoban, that was it. All right. I'm cool with that for the added robustness of not having that horrible hack. Now we got to do the test programs. How's the roller coaster going today? Same as it's going every day. All right. Oh God, this is going to have a lot. 2111. Program contains circular dependencies. And it's just a bunch of things at top level. Okay. This is a problem for us. Frickin' close. Maybe we have to fix the circular dependency reporter now, because it's just broken. Whoops. I don't know when or why it broke. So there's supposed to, when we report circular dependencies, there's supposed to be a cycle tracker that like finds cycles and tells us about them. The problem is that we're not like correctly listing the dependencies between things for some reason. And so the cycle tracker can't do anything. All right, well, we have to fix this. I think it's this, right? So if we go here and we just say, did we make release? Let's do debug. Yeah. Okay. Great. Boom. Well, actually, well, I guess we go there. So yeah, so there's going to be a weird thing. Like I said, it's not totally trivial detecting all cases of this necessarily. So we did the identifier case, and that was helpful. We've got all these breakpoints slowing us down now. We did the identifier case, but like I suspect that there's a run directive in an imperative scope that holds a dependency on something later in that scope, right? And we have to like detect those situations. Someone literally comes into the stream while I'm running the tests and asks if we write tests for our software. This is a problem with the internet, is like people try to absorb your energy without putting any effort in themselves whatsoever. Jesus. Have I thought about a noise gate? It doesn't seem very noisy in here right now. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like, I can't figure out how to do this in OBS anymore. It used to be obvious how to set it, and now I can't set it. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I literally was running the tests. It's like, oh my God, dude. All right. Well, I'll mess with the mic sometime later. Okay, well. Okay. See what our pipes look like. So we've got 6 in the infer pipe. That's pretty much what's holding everything up. So really, oh, that was a dumb hack. Yeah, there's going to be some run directive in the infer pipe blocking on something. So this visualization that we do used to be pretty useful, and now it's like, I don't know. Oh, we also have things in output that are getting rejected, I guess. They're getting thrown back. Okay, so this is just putting things back in the input. That's weird. All right. All right. It's just so that we can handle them in this loop. Sleepers, 10. Whoa. Oh, we're on pipe 0. Nothing in pipe 0. So we make an explainer node on the sleepers. And then we make an explainer node on the inputs. That's great. This part is the part that's maybe not working. So pipe 0 has nothing. Pipe 1 has lots of stuff. Node. It is sleeping on something. Okay. Okay, we add it to dependencies on dest node. Sounds fine. Why are we not seeing these things in the output file? I don't know. Okay, so we do a bunch of dependencies. We've got some. We can, if so down here, oh, it's this printout index thing. Let's take that out for a second, because maybe the print cycles is what's at. Okay, it's a little better. This program sucks, but let's Photoshop actually allows us to pan around and zoom the image. That's all we want to do. I don't know why Microsoft shipped a program where you can't do that. Oh man, how do I turn off the stupid grid? I turned it off one time and now it's on all the time. No. right. Whoa, that's a weird one. Wonder what that one is. 6002. Run directive, okay. I don't know what this is. These are just not getting their location set, so that's another thing that we could debug. Okay. Let's look at line 6002. Yeah, so this is a run directive that depends on a procedure immediately after it. So we have to detect that situation. I don't just want to fix this code because we have to give people an error when they do this. When is the right time to detect this? I mean, this should... Like, if this was non-constant, so what happens? Like, is there a special casing for that? Yeah, okay, it's broken no matter what. I mean, I could just figure out where the dependency gets added. And add that check. Yeah. In debug build, we get told these things. So we can do that. Are we running with no job? No, we didn't run with no jobs. Let's do that. So now, if we load this, Photoshop's so stupid. We reload this. These numbers should be the same. Okay, so line 6002 was the one. This one. So I can look for I kind of know where this dependency is, actually. But let's verify. Let's verify. So we can look in add dependency, and we can say when it's that. Okay. We're going to break on B expression S is equal to 4 with 4 zeros, 4, 3, B2. Oh, actually, no. A. B is the target. A is the source. So that might not actually be it, though, because the run directive has a frickin' lambda attached. We may not be printing enough. So this dependency printer thing internally collapses some relationships that are redundant and not normally that interesting to the viewer. And the problem with that is that in some cases like this, when I'm debugging internal things, it filters out the information that I want. Yeah, this run directive itself is probably not going to be the thing that depends. The run is going to depend on its lambda, and its lambda is going to depend on this thing. So, well, while this is, maybe we'll get lucky, but we're going to go into parser. And we're going to look for this. Look for that. We're going to disable our other break. Well, we'll leave that one. Okay. No. Oh, are we not running with no jobs here? We are. Okay. Well, run line number is 6002. Not line number, L0. We changed that. Okay. So lambda body it's this one. So let's break on this. Oh, well, actually, we know where it is. It's here. Let's say that's all right. Nope. Really? We're getting the same 6E2. That looks familiar. 6E2, yeah. Yeah, see, so we make this lambda. The run itself depends on the lambda, which actually we can get rid of. The way that we do things now, we don't need that. But I'm not sure why I am not correctly catching this dependency. Well, we could do it a different way. Oh, I didn't check the checkbox. You got to check the checkbox. You sure do add a lot of dependencies. Didn't matter. I checked the checkbox and it didn't matter. Okay. A expression L0 is equal to 6002. We're just going to keep trying things till we figure out what's going on. Let's make sure the lambda says 6002. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Aha! Oh, this is just the regular dependency that we're doing here. That's not the one we're looking for. Oh, you know what? We probably don't take a dependency. That's what's happening. We don't take a dependency. We try to resolve the identifier, and then we sleep on it. Probably. I am thinking in the old way. Okay, let's do this. Start over. We're just going to keep this pointer. We're going to go, and we're going to look at what's going on with this guy. Hanging out in pipe patch. In pipe patch. Let's see. Let's see. Wait, why is it in pipe? What? Oh, this is that header. Right, we have to look at the body. Duh. Body. Is in infer where you would expect. Thank you. Okay. It is not sleeping. It is, however, stuck in flatten. Yeah. So this is just going to be in infer in the identifier lookup. Here we've got something that says well, I mean, maybe it's just here. Maybe it's just this thing that we've simplified. Now, the only thing I'm thinking is there's a freaking other. Actually, no, there isn't. Okay. I think the clean place to check it is not actually here. It's when we set this. That's a clone. check imperative scope order ident. Okay, this one is the one that we already, we already checked this correctly. I don't know why struct dereference is such a different piece of code. I need to think about that sometime. Anyway, so the question is, do we just paste this? What I don't understand, actually, is why this didn't fire for that identifier. Or not this one, but this one. No, not this one. Wait, what? Wait, what? Hold on. What happened? It's here, okay. I was just getting confused by the similarity of these two places. Okay. So this is when we're looking up when we're calling find declaration, which we call from here. Yeah, so I'm not sure why it didn't go. So what I want to do is I want to look at that identifier. So this identifier is on line 6002, and it should be the only one. So we're going to look at resolve one ident for line 6002 and just see what happens. Okay, let's comment these out for now. Okay, so that is old. Let's disable this. This may take a while because we set a breakpoint that fires on every ident. Oh, there we go. What is this identifier? It's called foo. All right, well. What is wrong with this program? Look, there's a Control M. I have to rebuild. I don't have to rebuild. Ah! It's like I'm just trying to program. What is happening? Okay. So we're back here. Hey, look, oops. Didn't mean to do that. Except we didn't. We didn't. Okay. So what's happening is we're calling find declaration, and that see, this is, I'm confused because I remember something in find declaration helper that ignores things that are later than you in your same scope. But if that's happening, then how is our other message working that we did? You know, because for this test program that we did, it's the same. We're looking up a procedure name. Well, let's just do it again, and we'll step in this time. See what it's doing. See what it's doing. Current scope. Oh, this is going to be inside the Lambda. We have to go like frickin' 4 scopes up because we're inside the Lambda of the run directive. Oh, well, I don't know. Let's see. So we're inside, yeah. So we're in the arguments block, constants block. Now we're in the imperative scope of the procedure that the run directive is in, which is where we should find the identifier. So, foo. Okay, so we found it. If we're not in an imperative block, we just return it, right? We were just looking at this code 20 minutes ago. Current scope belongs to Lambda. So it seems to me that we should, oh, we don't actually set the resolve declaration. We just find it. Okay. Okay. So this is, This is not good. This condition was in there. Remember that thing we were saying about not being able to do mutually recursive procedures? If we put this rule in, this was in there to help us do mutually recursive procedures, and it's what's killing us on this run directive. I believe that if I take this clause out, that we then go through here, and one of these will fire. Well, the is earlier than test is, we have to look at that. That might not be correct. Let's see. And this is just redundant at this point. Like, let's just get rid of that. Okay, well, we still didn't catch it. And I think it's because this A is earlier than B test. Is not good. So I want to break on let's just see if we can put a breakpoint here. Rather than having to step down. And that might take a while because it's evaluate. Oh, maybe not. All right. Foo. Okay, we got to the same place. So now what I feel like is this A is earlier than B test is only, see, this tests logical position within a queued item. Yeah. Ha, ha. Ha, ha. Let's try this. Attempt to call a procedure that has overloads that are later in the scope than the call itself. That doesn't sound right to me. This is a case of, yeah, we're going to have to get a lot more specific about these, because I think this is misfiring because it expects this only to apply to the same logical unit. So let's look. 87. Yeah, that's not. Well, and in fact it is, or wait, what? Oh, right. There's a, yeah. Yeah. Where the hell were we? See, this assumes that they're in the same file, and this assumes that they're in the same logical unit. So it's misfiring because neither of those is true. Okay. Let's look at who uses these and try to clean this up. This is the only use point. It says right there. Okay. Warning. Caller must know these are already in the same file. We don't check that here. For this one, warning, caller must know these are already in the same queued. We don't check that here. Okay, well, we don't, we just return false if they aren't, which is likely not meaningful. So we're just going to make it special one for now that's like, A is inside same file and okay. If A load not B load return false, and then we just do uh-oh. This looks fishy right here. We have to look up everything with procedure order. But first things first. The hell am I looking at? I thought I was calling A is earlier than B. Was it not from here? Was it from scope? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we just deleted that. Oh, that shouldn't matter. Okay, wait. We already checked that at the callings. Oh, it's somebody, right, okay. No, never mind. A is inside same file and textually. I don't know, man. Let's put a the there. Do some can't be static. You're using it from another file. Hey, constructor identity. Uh-oh. That is not necessarily correct. That's misfiring also. well, not necessarily misfiring now, but we are not checking everything we need to check. So identity, oh no, it is. It's defined down here. You can't do that now. Okay, you got to put these first. Oh geez, well here's another thing you can't really do at all, given these rules. See, I can't define the types and the procedures all inside an imperative scope. That's kind of a bummer, because we don't have such a thing as like forward declaring types. Well, okay, it's the constructor here that's really the problem. You can't put this constructor there because it causes a loop, and there's no way to resolve that. See, it's stuff like this why I was doing that. All right, well, when we put in this documentation, of stuff you can't do right now, and that we'll probably want to fix before ship, we'll put this case. We'll say you just can't do this right now. That's kind of a bummer that you can't do that. But I'd rather have it be that the compiler is robust, and then we can decide that this is a little bit of a bummer and go fix it, as opposed to the situation right now, which is that we've got a hack to handle this, but it doesn't totally work in some weird cases. Like it's time for making everything clean and good. I don't know. Maybe I want to stop and attempt to do the better thing. Maybe I don't want to do that because I don't want to deal with all the complexity. But maybe it'll be less complexity than we have today with the weird hack. See, these are tough choices. The thing is, in reality, I don't think people will want to do this that much, except this is a case in reality where we do, like our bug routines, we want them to be sort of encapsulated and self-contained. we might be convincing ourselves to revert and do it the other way. I don't know. That's the only procedure order comment that we had. You think I should investigate further? Investigate what further? Like, look for other cases that may not work with this semantic choice? Is that what you mean? Or what? Because I could see doing a little bit of that. It might get tedious. Is the problem only for constructors? No. It is any reference at all from inside this struct to any procedure earlier will make a circular situation. In fact, not only can you not do the mutually recursive procedure thing, but you can't do mutually recursive data structures. Like, there's all sorts of things that you wouldn't be able to paste in here. So I'm really not liking it. I am not liking it. I think we just need to do the real thing. We need to knuckle down and make it work better. The old way. Does this restriction only apply within function blocks or everywhere? Well, it didn't used to apply anywhere, and we were playing around with only applying it in function blocks today. And I don't think I like it. I don't think I like all the ramifications. It's just too restrictive. I was liking at the beginning of the stream the idea of having the greater degree of simplicity in implementation. But this is probably too large of a cost to pay, it's looking like, for that. So I think that really what this means is I want to spend some time thinking about the way that imperative scopes are handled internally. You know, so the way things work is in a declarative scope, like top level or a struct or something, every statement gets one of these little queued structures, which means they're unordered with respect to each other, and they can go, you know, sift through the stages of the compiler all independently. In a declarative scope, it doesn't work that way. Everything gets put into one queued thinger. And maybe that's fine. I just want to think about it. I want to question the choices that were made a long time ago and see if I could think of anything better now. So this has been useful work to do this and sit down and see what's going on, but I don't think we're going to check this in. I think we need to do it the other way. You often find that the real thing turns out to be much less work than avoiding the real thing. Well, often that's true. Sometimes it's not. So far in this compiler with this particular real thing, it really hasn't been. It's been hard. A lot of the work in the compiler is about dealing with the nonlinearity of these things. So much so that I have no sympathy for anyone making a C-like language with order dependent includes who like says it's complicated, because it's so much easier. It's so much easier. But well, no sympathy is an exaggeration, but they have the fact that C++ has such an easier job and they screwed it up so bad. Let me just make that very specific. Anyway, any questions about what we did today? On topic questions, because I think it's time for me to get lunch. Well, not quite lunchtime, but think about things and figure out. I mean, there might not be a radically different new answer, but the answer might just be, you know, decide that we're really doing it and just go through and be very clean about everything and just do a bunch more elbow grease about cleaning out all these weird cases that have accumulated. That might just be what needs to happen. Restricting run to a pure function wouldn't change that much because you wouldn't want to rely on globals anyway, because you wouldn't know when the procedure is being executed. That is not true remotely. Not true remotely. That would be insanely restrictive. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to go off and have lunch and think about this. And, well, we know what one of the main jobs is. It's to do a good job at this thingamabob. Where can you go to get a quick overview? Well, if I get off my butt and review the website, you can go there, but you can't right now. YouTube videos are your best approach right now, yeah. All right, thanks everyone for coming by. I don't think we're going to raid anybody right now because sometimes we just don't do that. I think we just sign out, and I'll see you all later today or tomorrow or next year. I don't know when. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you later.